Hi students, welcome back to the virtual class of Python programming. So we have been discussing the problem aspects. In our last video, we have already discussed the types of problem. Those are the ill-defined problem and well-defined problem. We have already discussed what are the steps available to solve a problem. The first step is problem analysis. And today's class we are going to discuss the second step, that is algorithm. The algorithm is the main step because after analyzing the problem, after analyzing what actually the problem, our second step is to develop the logic for that problem. How we are going to solve the problem. If we are facing some problem, we are not going to leave the problem as same. We are going to solve the problem, and there are many different ways to solve that problem. So we need to pick a precise solution for that problem. As we are going to be a software developer, we should keep in our mind we are developing the solution for the user. So what actually the user wants, we need to analyze that user requirement. After analysis of that problem, then we will go for developing the logic, that is the algorithm. So why we need algorithm? Why we are not going to write the program directly? Because by developing the algorithm, there we can develop the logic of the problem. Then the software engineer or the software developer, he will write the code for that logic. And he can write the code in different programming languages. He can write the same solution in C, he can write the same solution in C++, he can write the same solution in Python, he can write the same solution also in PHP or React. There are many languages, there are different kinds of computer languages. You can implement those logic into programming codes by using some different computer languages. But the logic is the same. If I am writing a code in C programming language and it will give me the result of the factorial of a number. The same logic I can implement the same logic by using the Python programming also. So which one is easy? Obvious, the Python is easy. I will go for Python. I will implement that logic in Python programming. There also I am going to get the output as a factorial of a number. So this depends on the programmer, or this depends on the software developer, that which language he choose to implement the logic. So whatever the language we may know different types of language, but the basic thing is we should develop the logic first. Without knowing how to solve the problem, we cannot go for implementing the solution in case of programming language. So developing the logic means writing the algorithm for that problem. So let's see what is the algorithm, what are the characteristics of algorithm, and how we can write the algorithm in different manner. So the dictionary definition of algorithm is, the algorithm is a step-by-step procedure for solving a problem or accomplishing some task, especially by means of computer. So here we have to remember the algorithm is the step-by-step procedure that is meant for solving a problem or accomplishing some task. If some problem or task is given to us, we should define a step-by-step procedure to solve the problem or to accomplishing some task. That is algorithm. So why we mention here the especially by means of computer? Why we need a computer to write the algorithm? So let's see what are the kinds of problems we have. We have two types of problem. The first one is computational problem. So the computational problem means what? The solution for the problem can be implemented by using a computer. So what actually this means? The computational problem. In our last video, we have already discussed what type of problem we are facing in our day-to-day life. we are facing different types of problems, and there are several ways our brain knows that how we are going to solve those problems. So, there are actually two types of problem, that is ill defined and well defined. But the kind of problem is also of two types, that is computational problem and non-computational problem. So, what actually I am saying, if you consider the nature of the problem, then we have two types of problem, that is ill defined and well defined. If we consider the solution of a problem, if we are going to categorize the problem by looking at the solution, then there are two types of problem, that is computational problem and non-computational problem. So, computational problem means the solution of that specific problem can be solved or can be implemented by using a computer. Suppose we want to print all prime numbers present in between 1 to 1000. So, what is the problem here? The problem is we want to print all prime numbers and the starting point is 1, the ending point is 1000. So, we are not going to print all the prime numbers, or we are not going to check individual numbers, those are present in between 1 to 100 in our paper and pen. So, what we are going to do? We are going to develop some logic, we are going to write some program that can print all prime numbers that are present in 1 to 100. So, that is a computational problem. There we need a computational device, maybe a calculator, maybe a computer, whatever. So, we need a computational device to solve that problem, or you can say the solution of the problem can be implemented by using a computer. So, what is non-computational problem? So, non-computational problem means the solution cannot be implemented by using a computer. So, what actually that non-computational problem? So, let us see the definition here. The non-computational problem is the solution for the problem cannot be implemented by using a computer. So, take some example. We are facing different types of problem in our day-to-day life. Suppose take some example, I am taking your class and your class timing is at exact 9:30 at the morning and you are being late. So, what I will do? I will not let you come, or I will not let you enter to the classroom. So, there your problem is how to convince me so that I can let you to come or to enter or to attend my class. So, that is your problem. You cannot solve this problem by using a computer. There you need to use your brain. You should think what are the ways that you can convince me. Or another example, suppose we are asking, now this pandemic situation, we are always asking what is the cure or what is the medicine or what is the vaccine for coronavirus. We are not going to implement the solution of or the vaccine of the coronavirus by using a computer. There we need to some scientific research, there we need some research to get a vaccine. We cannot implement that solution in case of computer. So, that is non-computational problem. So, whenever we are talking about the computational problem, if what is the solution available for that problem, we can implement the solution of the problem by using a computer. There we will go for algorithm. So, algorithm means a step-by-step procedure that is used to solve a problem in means of computer. So, let us see what are the characteristics of a algorithm. So, the first properties or first characteristics of the computer algorithm is unambiguous. So, what actually that unambiguous means? The each step of a algorithm should be clear and unambiguous, and it must lead into only one meaning. So, we are developing the logic for the programmer. The programmer is responsible for converting the algorithm into some codes, that is into some set of instructions. The algorithm, we are going to write the algorithm in high level language. The computer cannot understand the algorithm directly. So, we need to convert the algorithm into some set of instructions. There we can use some different languages. There we can use computer languages to write a program, that is a set of instructions. So if the algorithm is ambiguous, that means the algorithm, we cannot understand the algorithm, there are different meaning for that algorithm. So that will be very difficult for the programmer to convert the algorithm or to implement the algorithm in terms of programming. To convert the algorithm into some set of instructions, we need to make the algorithm unambiguous. The algorithm should be clear. We should use some simple language to define the algorithm. After that, the programmer will feel very easy to convert the algorithm into flowchart or into some set of instructions. And the algorithm should always lead to only one meaning. What actually the problem is and what actually the solution. The algorithm should not give different solution. The algorithm should give a best solution to the problem. We can bake a cake in different ways. We can bake the cake in oven, we can bake the cake in pressure cooker or whatever else. So whenever we are writing the procedure to bake a cake, there we need to specify that you are going to make a bake in a oven or in a pressure cooker. So the procedure for baking a cake in oven is different, the procedure for baking a cake in pressure cooker is different. So we not only need to give the procedure, we need to give also the platform. So that's why our algorithm should be unambiguous, the algorithm should be clear, the algorithm should lead us to only one meaning. That will be very easy for the programmer to write the code for the algorithm. The second characteristics of the algorithm is input. So what actually that input means? The input means an algorithm should have zero or well defined inputs. The algorithm can take zero input or the algorithm should take well defined inputs. So what actually that well defined inputs or zero input? Consider first the zero input. So whenever we are going to write our first program, that is hi or hello world, there we are not giving any input to the computer. There the algorithm can work without having any input. Or suppose we have a static value, that means suppose we want to calculate the factorial of 5. We know that the input, we are not going to give the input from the keyboard. There we can write n equals to 5, that is a static variable. The algorithm can work for that also. Well defined input means what? Well defined input means actually what my customer wants or what actually user's problem. There we need to give some precise inputs. If we are giving some inputs as a number, the number is a integer number or float number or a character or whatever else it may be, we should precisely define, we should well define the inputs. If we are going to give some integers, then the input should be positive or negative number, or it may be a 0 or whatever else. So we need to give some precise or well defined input to the algorithm. So that is the characteristics of an algorithm, that the input should be 0 or the input should be well defined. The next characteristics of the algorithm is output. So what is that? So an algorithm should have one or more well defined outputs. So after writing the algorithm now what we learned, that the algorithm should be unambiguous, the algorithm should be clear, the algorithm should lead us into one meaning, and the algorithm should have 0 or well defined inputs. If we are giving well defined inputs, then what actually we are expecting for the algorithm? That is one or more than one well defined outputs. If we are giving 0 input, that means we are giving nothing, then also the algorithm is going to provide us some output. What I have told that we want to calculate the factorial of 5. There we are not going to input a number, we are going to define a static variable. There we can initialize the variable with 5. So we are not giving anything, but the algorithm will give me the factorial of 5. So, what actually the output characteristics of algorithm means? The algorithm can give us one or more well defined outputs, where we are talking about the all prime numbers in between 1 to 1000. There the algorithm is going to give me different outputs, those are also well defined. What is the problem? The problem is to printing all prime numbers, and the algorithm is going to give me that all prime numbers. The algorithm is not going to give me all even numbers, because we are writing the algorithm for the prime numbers. So, algorithm is going to give us one or more well defined outputs. The next characteristics of the algorithm is finiteness. So, what actually that finiteness means? Finiteness means algorithm must terminate after a finite number of steps. So, after executing some finite number of steps, the algorithm should be terminated. You are having 3 years of course. You have to complete your course within 3 years. If you have some backlog papers, then you have 2 more chances that you can clear those papers and you can clear the course within 5 years. So, that is a finite set of time. If you are not going to clear your backlog paper within 5 years, then after 5 years, at 6 and 7 years, if you want to appear the backlog exams, then the college will not allow you, because you have some sort of time span, that is 5 years. You need to clear all your backlog exams within 5 years. If we will give permission to you that you can appear your backlog exams whenever you want, then all the students who have admitted into a 1992 batch, they can also come and they can also appear the exam. So, there will be no uniformity. So, that is why we have some sort of time span. Like that, algorithm has some finite set of instruction. By executing or by completing some finite set of instruction, the algorithm should be terminated. Otherwise, it will be called as infinite loop, or the algorithm is not going to give us any output by completing an infinite set of instruction. So, there should be a finite set. By completing those sets, the algorithm should be terminated, and the algorithm should be terminated with the desired output. If the finite steps are not going to give us the desired output, we cannot call these steps as an algorithm. So, that is the main characteristics of an algorithm. And the last characteristics of the algorithm is definiteness. That means it must give the desired solution. What I just told you, that the algorithm should give us the desired solution. If I want to calculate 5 plus 3, or if I want to develop an algorithm for addition, there if I am going to input 15 and 10, the algorithm should give me 25. If the algorithm is going to give me 150, that means the algorithm is not giving me the desired solution. We cannot call those instructions as algorithm. So, these are the 5 characteristics of an algorithm. When we are going to write the algorithm, we should keep all these 5 characteristics in our mind. That the algorithm should be unambiguous, the algorithm should be clear, the algorithm should have 0 or more inputs, those are well defined inputs. The algorithm is going to give us the desired solution. The algorithm is going to give us one or more well defined outputs. The output should be well defined, and the main part is the algorithm should be get terminated after executing some finite number of sets. So, these are the 5 characteristics. Let us see how we are going to write the algorithm. The problem is here to design an algorithm which will take 2 inputs, then it will add those numbers and display the results. So, let us see how we are going to write the algorithm. So, the problem here is design an algorithm to add 2 numbers and display the result. So first we need to start our algorithm. Always the first step is start. Then second step is here, what actually we need? We need to add two numbers. That means we need to take input of two numbers and display the result. So here we need three variables, two variable for these two numbers and another variable for the result. So we need three variables, those are A, B and C. So second step is we need to declare those three variables. So the three variables are A, B and C. A and B for taking input from the user, that what actually the user wants to add, and C is going to hold the result of A plus B. So the third step is what? The second step is we are going to declare three variables. The third step is to define values for A and B. The second characteristics of algorithm says the algorithm can take 0 or more well defined inputs. So here we need to define the values for A and B, what we are going to add. So after getting the value for A and B, next we will go for adding A and B. So the fourth step is add values of A and B. Then what we need to store these add values, that means what actually we get from A plus B, that there we need to store the result in C. So the fifth step is store output of step 4. So what is step 4 here? Step 4 is add values of A and B. So output of step 4 is going to place in C. Then after getting the result at C, we are going to display the result as they are mentioned in problem to display the result. So the step 6 is print C. That means there we are going to display the addition result that is stored in C. So print C. And after these are the finite steps. After executing step 6, we solve our problem. Our problem is to add two number. Here we are adding two number. Then second is display the result. At step 6 we are displaying the result. So we need to stop now. So the step 7 should be stop. You should remember the first step is always start and the last step is always step. So this is the way of writing an algorithm. We have different ways to write an algorithm. So let's see the second. The second way is that the first one is what? Start add. So here we have precisely defined that we are going to write the algorithm for addition operation. So here we are clearly specified start add. Then the second step is get values of A and B. In case of Python, we need not to declare the variables, because by giving input to a variable and according to the nature of the value, the variable will take that type of data type. So get values of A and B. A and B are used for these two numbers, what actually my user is going to input. So get values of A and B. Then the third step is C equals to A plus B. We cannot use the equal symbol in case of algorithm. So you just remember this reverse arrow mark is used to indicate the equals symbol. So here we can say C is going to hold the result that we will get from the right hand side operation, that is A plus B. So whatever the result of A plus B it may be, that is going to store in C. So that's why we are using a reverse arrow mark. So after storing the result of A plus B into C, what we need? We need to display the result. So the step 4 is display C. And after displaying the result, what actually the next problem? That is nothing. So by completing these 4 steps, we are solving our problem to add two number and display the result. So the step 5 must be stop. So by executing these finite steps, this problem can be solved very easily. So these are the two ways of writing algorithm. There are many different ways of writing the algorithm. So in our next class, we are going to solve more and more problems by using or by writing some different ways of algorithm. Thank you.